there's nothing really too much for me to say. Just looking at these stats here, we got to get better with the defensive end. That's the first and most important thing. But I will say this, I don't care how you look at it. I think a win is a win, and for these guys and for us as a staff to come out and get a win with the team that I think is going to be very good in West Georgia. I think I learned a lot about the character of our guys. Delbert hit a huge three. Markeith stepped up and knocked down 2 big free throws. These are teachable moments for us as we move ahead. Do we have a lot of work to do? Yes. Am I happy with some of the performances? Absolutely. You know, Romaine Henry comes off the bench, 4 for 8 for 10 points. Aaron Anderson, 8 points, 8 rebounds. You know, I know you guys are going to speak to Markeith about 19 and 8, Delbert with 10. But even on the flip side, the first guy that I talked to was Spencer Dixon. And I said, if you're going to have a shooting night like tonight, I'd rather you have it tonight. All right? So, you know, 2 for 15 and 0 for 7 is just not customary for him. But I think one of the things is I continue to look down the stats. We had 11 assists and 6 turnovers. I'd like to see that assist total to get up closer to 20. And I can take the 6 turnovers. Because if you can have anywhere from a 2.5 to 3 to 1 assist to turnover ratio, I think you're doing a good job as a team. So, with all that being said, fire away.
Questions for Markeith or Delbert?
Quick question for Mr. Delbert. What was going through your mind before you, I mean, it's a huge shot right there when you took that 3-pointer. What was going through your mind before you took the shot?
Stay confident. Coach talked about we was always be confident and ready to shoot when you catch the ball. And I seen Markeith driving, and I slid up, and I seen the pass coming. I got my feet ready, shot the ball.
Markeith, do you feel like your role was any different tonight than it has been in years past?
Yeah, I had to had to come out and be a leader and come out with intensity and go on the boards and basically put everybody on my back and show them, like, okay, we're gonna do this. And tonight, really, I was just testing Delbert on the last play. I could have easily went up and shot the ball, but I passed it to him to see how confident he is in his shot and see how nervous he was and everything.
He was testing me too.
I was going to say, Coach, do you agree with that scheme?
That's not in the playbook, but, you know, I think it says 2 things. I think it says a lot about Delbert in the short amount of time that he's been here. For the rest of the guys that have that much confidence in him. And I think it also says a lot about Markeith and his unselfishness. And that's one of the things that we're going to have to continue to grow as a team, is to be unselfish. You know, I always preach a good shot versus a great shot. And we got to make sure that we take great shots every time down the floor. You know, there's about 12 wasted possessions on quick shots, 1 pass shot, that we'll go down, we'll break down, we'll look at it, and once again, we'll get better from it.
And you guys made that one big defensive stand there at the end to kind of set up Spencer's free throws. Talk about that.
Well, it was just plain and simple. It's games on the line, got to get a stop. And I thought one of the things, I thought probably for the second half, probably one of the few times we kept guys in front of us and they took a hard shot. Now, believe me, the fadeaway that Gavin Fields hit, I'm the first one to say this, and I tell these guys all the time, if guys can knock down shots like that, I'll be the first one after the game and slap them on the behind, right? And I did afterwards, all right, because that was a tough shot. I can live with those shots, but there's a lot of shots that we gave them tonight that I can't live with, and we're going to get better from that. But I'm glad we had that one defensive stand when we needed it, and then for our guys to step up and knock down free throws down the stretch.
How about your team's shot selection? Were you content with the shots that y'all took?
No. I think early on, I think there was some jitters there, and we moved the ball very well. Then once we got that 7-0, 9-0 lead, I thought we got into 1 pass shot. 1 pass, dribble, try to attack, try to take it on ourselves instead of methodically just imposing our will. on West Georgia. And I give West Georgia a lot of credit because they very easily could have just folded and guys got out of character themselves. Says a lot about Coach Cooney and his team. And I think that's a pretty good team. You know, for us, I think it was a great test early, you know, and we got to regroup, get some soreness out of these guys. One of the things, we have not been able to go up and down the floor as much as I would like, just by sheer numbers. And for us to do this tonight and play 40 minutes the way we did, I learned a lot about this group. I know we got a lot to work on, but I'm taking some positives out of it as well.
Thank you, Delbert, Markeith, we appreciate it. Questions for Coach Preston?
I've got one more. Talk about not having Ladarius Green in today. You know, did that play offensively and defensively? What differences do you think it might have been to have him there?
It may have helped the flow of the game a little bit, you know, may have helped us to slow down a little bit, but to be perfectly honest with you, I mean, I pretty much can't ask Aaron Anderson pretty much anymore, 8 and 8. You know, I thought he did a very good job for us. Shoot Romaine Henry, you know, 10 points off the bench. I'd like for him to get more than 2 rebounds. I mean, I go back, if Spencer knocks down 5 more shots, we're talking in totally different terms right here, okay? And believe me, going back and look at his shot selection, I can live with easily 80% of his shots. It's just, you know, he's knocked down those shots in practice. He's knocked down those shots in breakdown drills. So I'm not really worried about that as much. I'm much more worried about the defensive side of the ball, okay? We have got to enjoy stopping people, all right? I don't know about you guys, but the one thing that you'll learn about me and my background, I've come from great defensive teams, okay? I've been a part and been around teams that enjoyed imposing their will on the opponent. That's going to take time. This is all a process, okay? Believe me, I'm not going home and jumping off the deep end. We're all going to learn and grow from this.
Coach, having now been on the sidelines as a head coach after spending the last 6 months recruiting, coaching, practicing, what was one thing that stood out as being the biggest difference between being a head coach during a game and being an assistant?
Actually, you just tell my assistants to sit down and be quiet. No, seriously. You know what was, believe it or not, the game actually slowed down. You know, I was actually surprised by that. I was able to see certain things crystal clear. And I think sometimes as an assistant, you get frantic to a certain extent. And one of the things I did not want to show our guys was being frantic. That's the reason why one of the things I kneel purposely, okay? Because first of all, pretty tall man, right? So if I'm a tall man getting out of character, it can make them panic a little bit. So I wanted to try to stay calm as much as possible. So hopefully that played into Delbert knocking down that huge three, and Markeith knocking down free throws. But I have a great amount of trust in these guys in the short amount of time I've been with them, and I look for us to continue to grow in regards to trust, get our communication better, and more importantly, just get better as a team. Baby steps. It's baby steps.
Quick question for you, Coach. Number 11, Phil Garvin for West Georgia was definitely giving us some problems
Right.
on the defensive end. How scared were you when he started? After he made that 3 during the second quarter, his confidence came up. So what were you think? How were you thinking at that point?
You know what, to be honest with you, we didn't have a lot of film on these guys, right? So it's kind of, you come into it a little bit cold. The interesting thing about it was, and it's the same way, when a guy gets hot, you've got to find a way, all right, to get him out of his comfort zone. As you guys noticed, I put Romaine Henry on Deron Sims, number 32, when he was getting going. I thought Romaine, from a defensive standpoint, helped us set the tone against him. The guy did shoot 8 for 21. In regards to Gavin Field, you know what, that's kind of, you know, his MO. He knocks down shots. And there's a couple of them I can live with. There's about 4 or 5 of them that he knocked down that I can't live with, and we're going to learn from it. We're going to look at film, you know, individually, collectively as a team. And once again, we're going to get better from this.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.